Hi, this is Ike from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another book to read for you. Today's book is The Little Drummer Mouse from 2006. So let's get started. It had always seemed for a long time, as the little mouse could remember, that he followed along behind. He was the smallest in the family, and because it was hard for him to keep up with his brothers and sisters, his mother worried about him a great deal, so she made a tiny drum for him out of a hollow acorn. My littlest one, she told him, you are always lagging behind, but at least I'll hear you beating on this drum. In that ways, I won't lose you. The little drummer mouse, as he came to be called, loved playing on the acorn drum and carried it with him everywhere, but his big brother and sister often teased him. Per rumbity plum. All you can do is beat your drum, they would chant. The other forest animals also laughed and teased him. Although the little drummer mouse badly wanted to play with them, he was too small to join in their rough and tumble games. Instead, he would sit under one of the oak trees and beat tap 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 on his little acorn drum. What's all that noise? Asked the young squirrel. Don't you know you're supposed to eat acorns? My mother told me not to play with my food. Go play your drum to the stars. At least you won't be bothering them, added a rabbit. And so that just what he did. On a clear night when the mouse family was tucked in bed, the little drummer mouse would often creep outside to the farmer fields. There he loved to watch the stars twinkle back at him as he tapped along, and they even seemed to enjoy his playing as much as he did. Then one day in autumn, the raven returned to the forest and called to the other animals to gather around. He had astonished news, for he had heard that the greatest king of all was soon to be born amongst men. By winter time, the royal family would pass right through the very forest on their way to the town where the baby king would be born. The excitement in the crowd was so great that the little drummer mouse gave a quick drum roll without even thinking. An old grumpy otter frowned and smashed them. We should do something to welcome them, a dare called out, and everyone muttered in agreement. You're right, said the wise owl. We should make the forest beautiful for their journey and offer gifts to the royal baby. Everyone said that this made perfect sense, and for weeks they cleaned and decorated the wild forest. Many of the animals bought wonderful gifts for the baby as well. Then they waited. One morning there came a big snowfall which covered the forest trees and the farmer's fields. But on this cold winter day, very few travelers passed through the forest. There was only a poor man leading a donkey and a woman wrapped in a thin blanket, who rode on the donkey back. By this time, the animal had grown tired of waiting for it, seeing the royal family would never come. Well, if this doesn't beat all, said a stylish boar, and after we have done all this work, They have some nerves, added a brown bear. The animal was all very upset, but the white owl calmed them down. After all, he said, they are the royal family. No doubt something of great importance came up, and the trip was cancelled. That cheered everyone up since they had prepared a grand celebration. They had a wonderful party anyway. They danced and sung and ate until the sunshine, and the first star of the evening tinkled in heaven above. Later, snugged in his bed, the little drummer mouse was still too excited to sleep. Looking out the little window in the bedroom he shared with his many brothers and sisters, he noticed a new bright star that shined down from heaven. It was the most beautiful star he had ever seen. Quietly, he took his acorn drum and creeped out of the forest, no, yeah, out of the fields to get a better look. I wish I could see the baby king, thought the little drummer mouse. Perhaps I will just peek and no one will notice me since I am so small. Pulling his courage together, the little mouse set off after the three kings. The stable was not much more than a shed, but it was warm. As the little drummer mouse squeezed through a crack in the wall, he saw a crowd of farmers and sheep, or shepherds. He watched as each person stepped forward to lay something shabby and simple before a major. Over the major stood the man and the woman who had passed through the forest the day before. Then the three tall kings came forward to give their rich and beautiful gifts. There was gold and silver and perfume that smelled wonderful. So is it true? Thought the little mouse. He must indeed be a king. I better be going after all. I hadn't been invited and I have nothing to give. He added to creep back out through the crack, but a sharper foot was blocking his way. The shepherd began to play a tune on their harp and flutes. The sound was so lovely that the little drummer mouse began to tap along on his acorn drum. He became lost in the magic of the song and didn't notice when the other musicians fell silent. The baby had awakened, and the young mother lifted him from the manger. She turned toward the little mouse, who was still tapping, and said, "Bring forth the drummer, and raise him up so that he may see." Suddenly, two large hands scooped him up. The little drummer mouse cringed in terror, but to his surprise, the woman smiled at him and said, "You are the tiniest of all. Keep playing your little drum." The baby seemed to like that sound the best. The little drummer mouse looked at the baby, and the baby laughed. Then he began to play again, slowly at first, then a little faster. Everyone listened and smiled. He could have shouted for joy. The flute chimed in, followed by the harp. Soon everyone in the stable joined along, playing and singing a beautiful song. For the first time, even the little drummer mouse was his little with his little acorn drum wasn't being teased or followed along behind. He was lead instantly. So that was the Little Drummer Mouse from 2006. If you like, subscribe, share, and comment, and have a groovy day. We'll have another video coming out real soon.